The judicial process has been used to circumvent the will of the people time and time again, where sometimes one appointed, unaccountable, unelected bureaucrat can suppress local, state government, and even sometimes the President of the United States. This has happened in Texas one day after the Supreme Court stayed the Biden administration's decision or emergency request to block Texas's law from being enforced in the state immigration laws while it was being litigated. The day after the Supreme Court allowed it to go forward, the Fifth Circuit Court, who now had months to deliberate on this, just coincidentally decided that Texas today could not, in fact, enforce the federal immigration law using state resources to setting up a full hearing, obviously, going to the Supreme Court on this. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, sir, this is crazy. They released this the day after.
It's one of the craziest procedural cases I've ever seen. Initially, the district court judge enjoined our law because the ACLU and the Biden sued us to stop it from going into effect on March 4th. Then the Court of Appeals, a different panel of three, stopped that injunction and allowed our law to go back into place. However, they put what was called an administrative stay on it so that the U.S. Supreme Court could look at it. The U.S. Supreme Court looks at it and says, the law's fine for now, let it go into effect. And less than 2 hours later, I think it was, the Fifth Circuit, a new panel, 2-1, came out and said, no, we're going to put a stay on this again. And we haven't even had a chance to present the merits, which we will do in 2 weeks. And it's the most bizarre thing because not only did we have this change, but we only had 12 hours to prepare. From the time we found out to the time we were in court in front of these judges, it was like 12 hours. It was really crazy.
It is crazy, and it's the fact that, like, the key word being Supreme Court says you can do something, and then, but the governor down there, I think, is doing a good job at this. He told them, he said, "Hey, those buoys in the Rio Grande, they're going to stay. We're going to keep doing what we're doing." I mean, this is, is it being set up for another confrontation?
Look, so far, that's fine. Even under the court ruling, our buoys are fine according to the court ruling we've had, just like our fence and wire is fine. Because they've actually not challenged us putting it up. We were challenging them cutting it down. The Supreme Court said, oh, yeah, they can cut it down. But interestingly enough, ever since that case started where we sued them, nobody's cut any wire down. Nobody's cut any fence down, and we continue to put it up. The governor's doing a great job with the border, and I'm glad that he's continuing to stand strong on this.
Yeah. Well, there's a Texas rancher who's been in the media a little bit recently. He says this migrant invasion of his border property has cost him over $400,000. He has, he does high fence ranch hunting and some very expensive animals over there that people will pay. And there are more exotic animals in Texas than there probably are in Africa at this point. And he's lost some of those because the migrants are cutting his private fence.
No, this is very common along the border. Many people feel unsafe. They won't walk outside without carrying a weapon. They've moved their families away because they don't feel safe with their children there. I mean, and that has an economic cost. This property is not worth as much as it should be because no one feels safe with the cartels regularly crossing their property with illegal immigrants. And those illegal immigrants might be criminals, and some of them are. They might be terrorists, and some of them are. And that creates a huge problem for people on the border.
Well, Mr. Attorney General, let's say everything goes in your favor, which in my opinion it should go. Everything goes in your favor. You guys decide to do to the entire border what you did in Eagle Pass, which we added this all up, should probably cost mile by mile a little over $300 million if you did the same thing that you did in Eagle Pass. Are you prepared as a state to do that, and do you have the resources to do it? And how long do you think it would take to do that, or is it just key locations?
It's key location. I mean, because it's tremendously expensive to do what we're doing. We spent billions and billions of dollars on law enforcement, building fences and barriers. But I do think it makes a difference. I think it already is making a difference, and people are moving to New Mexico and California and Arizona because it's easier. And it doesn't help the overall problem, but it does help Texas, and the other states would have a choice to do the same thing if they decided they actually cared about this issue.
Yeah, well, Mr. Attorney General, God bless Texas. God bless the fight that you continue to put up on behalf of the safety of your people. We appreciate it very much, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right.